Hey, Pastor Josh here, and I want to give you an update on Redeeming Grace Church. It is Monday, March 16th in the evening. I'm coming to you from my basement, and just want to give you some information, especially concerning the coronavirus. And the CDC actually released yesterday afternoon a call for all gatherings of 50 or more people to be canceled across the country for the next 8 weeks. Also, today, President Trump had a press conference and actually is calling all Americans to avoid any gatherings of 10 or more for the next 15 days. So, we as Christians and as Redeeming Grace Church are going to comply with both of those calls and suspend all of our gatherings, our worship services on Sunday morning, our family meetings, and our small groups. And so we will go ahead and cancel or suspend all of those until those recommendations are lifted or they expire. So Romans 13 actually tells us that we should submit ourselves to the governing authorities, and unless they're calling us to blatant sin, we should be good citizens, and this is a way to serve, to show that loyalty and that obedience to Romans 13, as well as just a love of neighbor. This COVID-19 coronavirus is a serious thing and kind of hard to get our hands and heads around, and so we're going to respond to the call to do this out of love of neighbor, out of respect for the governing authorities God's put over us, and really as Christians, in light of all of this, we really first and foremost should be people of prayer. And so I encourage you that in these times to pray for the halting of this disease. Pray for those that are vulnerable or at risk. Pray that those who might be carriers, that there might be just some way to be able to identify and stop the spread of this disease. Pray for our missionaries. Pray for Christians around the world. Pray for pastors as they make decisions about how to lead their congregation. Pray for those who this is really going to cause a lot of hardship financially as they're away from their jobs, small businesses, having to stay home with kids, all of that kind of stuff. Also, pray for those kids that maybe one or two of their meals was at school, and it's just a real difficulty for them to be fed regularly. Pray for those kids that are in difficult homes where maybe school is the only safe place, and now with all of the tension, loss of income, and can really create stress within a home. And so pray for all of that, and I'm sure we could think of dozens of more things to pray. So we as Christians are a people of prayer, and so I encourage you to make these items a matter of prayer. As we go forward with Redeeming Grace Church, I am getting some extra equipment to be able to record and live stream at a little higher quality, and so we will try to have our sermons and maybe some other things, some prayer, some other testimonies or things like that. We're still working that out. But for us to try to still, in some way, unite around the word via technology regularly on the Lord's Day on Sunday. It's not ideal. We as Christians are a gathering people. The word church means assembly. And so there is a part of us that really struggles with giving up our gatherings, but it's the right thing to do right now, and so we will do that. And we are looking forward to the day when we can once again gather in person, and I hope and trust that Christians across the country will cherish their gatherings more deeply, will be more committed to them, and that first Sunday back after being suspended from our gatherings for so long, I just assume that's going to be a really, really sweet day. That is maybe a foretaste of heaven. All of our worship services are a foretaste of heaven, but this one especially, this waiting for our next gathering, may especially heighten our anticipation, not just for when we gather together again, but when we gather around His throne in eternity. So pray for all of the things going on in our world. Pray for your brothers and sisters in Christ. Pray that we would represent Christ well, and we would step up and meet the needs that are here, and pray that we would be helpful in the stop of this disease. So I love you. I hope that we'll be able to connect in different ways over the coming weeks, and that's what's going on with our church. So thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this, and God bless.